All right, so as far as women empowerment, like getting into relationships, let's talk about upbringing. Cause for me, I don't often tell people my story because it's not a lot of people's business. But I was one of those childs. I was born to like my parents. Like my dad was married already with a wife and had kids. And he was crippled with my mom, and she was with the guy she's married to. So I was an affair child. So when you born into that type of situation, you feel that growing up. You feel all the awkward moments. I'm with my dad and his wife. He pull up, my mom and her husband. Like, everybody cheated. They had their affairs. You feel that. So that affected me going into relationships because I felt that absence. So do you feel like upbringing affects relationships? And if you had like a rough upbringing, how do you, I guess, like fix that before you get into a relationship?
Sheesh.
I know it's a lot to lay on you.
No, first of all, that makes me sad because I was super fortunate, right? My parents were married and still are 32 years now. And so I grew up in a very loving household. Not only just in my household, but my extended family is super close, super loving. My grandparents set a phenomenal example for us. They were married for 52 years before my grandfather passed. So I grew up seeing my mother cater to my father. You know what I mean? My grandmother catering to my grandfather. My aunts, they were all married at one point. So I watched them cater to their husbands. And
so what happens if you meet a guy like me?
right? So
because it can happen.
I feel like there is a struggle with that for men or women who had issues in the household because there's a disconnect or a sense of not feeling as secure or maybe not feeling as wanted or as loved or whatever. Then somebody like me could smother you with love all day, right?
Whew, yeah, definitely.
And so, but it's not always received well. Sometimes people receive it as it's too much, it's too extra when they're like, ugh, she's all up on me, but for me, that's all I know. Support, love, So sometimes it creates a problem.
You know what? You hit it right on the nose with that because I've gotten into relationships with women who didn't have that same upbringing. Like they had an upbringing like yours where all they know is love. And they putting that on me. You gotta understand, like, I suffer from abandonment issues. So sometimes I want to feel abandoned. I don't want you to love on me. I don't want you to be, you know what I'm saying?
Is it a fear? Or is it just, I'm just used to this?
This shit is like deeply...
Yeah, just rooted.
Yeah, I'm going to therapy eventually. I'm going to get to it. But now I was wondering though, but you know what I never do though? I learned to stop doing when I get into a relationship. I don't blame my upbringing. Like I ain't have no control over my childhood, but I have control over my adulthood.
Yes. That is so important.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, it's not this woman's fault that I had these type of situations. It's not my fault either.
Yeah.
But
But it is now your responsibility to behave.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Accordingly.
Working on it, definitely. But so, do you think it's possible that like a person that like my situation came up like me, in your situation, how do a couple of people like that make that type of situation work?
Well, they say opposites attract. I would imagine just a whole lot of open communication and understanding, and probably a lot of forgiveness as well. You know what I mean? Because y'all might rub each other the wrong way, not intentionally, just because of y'all different viewpoints. You just gotta forgive each other.